Bostinator takes round one.
Something about this just doesn't feel quite right. Welcome everybody to my Killing Floor 2 support guide. This class is so much fun to play. You kill small Zeds, medium Zeds, large Zeds, pretty much everything all by yourself. No wonder so many people love playing this class. You don't even need good positioning or need to be accurate or even really need to think. The support starts off with a pump shotgun, 9mm pistol, machete, and frag grenade. The 9mm and the machete you will pretty much only use if you're completely out of shots with your shotgun or if you need to block a heavy attack from something like a Scrake or a Flesh Pound, so I really won't be going into any more detail than that. Your pump shotgun will be your primary weapon for the first round, maybe more, and it'll serve you pretty well. With every shell of the pump shotgun you shoot out 7 pellets, each doing 20 damage. So if you hit with all of them, you'll do 140 damage, which is more than enough to body shot small Zeds, and enough to usually one-shot headshot most of the medium Zeds. Every time you upgrade the pump, it'll gain 1 additional weight and 25% more damage. So at max, it'll do 280 damage if you connect with all pellets, and it'll weigh 9. The main tips that I will give you for the pump shotgun are to target weak zones on larger and medium Zeds like the head or maybe a husked backpack, and try to line up as many small Zeds as you can to use your passive penetration ability to save ammo early on. Also, make sure to reload your gun every time you aren't being attacked or aren't about to be attacked. I personally really wouldn't recommend holding onto the pump shotgun for very long or really upgrading it, as I find most of the other shotguns tend to do its job better. However, I would really recommend you trying to find this laying around on the ground, and if you do, use it for that round so that you can save some extra money on the ammo as well as sell it a little bit later. Alright, moving on to tier 2 weapons, and the first weapon that you can afford is Firebug's Dragon's Breath. This is another pump action shotgun, but this one spits fire, and it has some of the strangest numbers. I mean, just look at these ones. Does this make sense to you? What? It probably does, now that I look at it again. Alright, so the Dragon's Breath shoots out 8 pellets, each of which do 26 damage, plus additional fire damage over time. This weapon can set enemies on fire, and if it does, they start to panic. With each pellet, it has a 10% chance of starting a fire. You can only have one counting flame on a target, though, at a time, so you can't set things on fire with multiple shots or with the same shot multiple times. The flames will do 10 damage a second for the next 5 seconds. If you upgrade the Dragon's Breath, it'll gain 1 weight each time, and additional 10% damage with each upgrade. And you want to use a similar tactic with the Dragon's Breath as you do the pump shotgun, as the Dragon's Breath even holds less shots than the pump shotgun. Reload it whenever you can, whenever you're not being attacked or when you're about to be attacked. Up next is the nail gun. The nail gun is probably the most cost-effective weapon for the support. If you want to save money, then here's an option for you. As a shotgun, this weapon fires out 8 nails and does 25 damage each. In single fire, it still does 25 damage, but you fire 1 nail at a time. The nails can also ricochet off of surfaces and hit other enemies, including walls, floors, ceilings. The big appeal to the nail gun is that it's the first real semi-automatic shotgun that the support gets. And it is pretty strong. It stays pretty strong and its upgrades are pretty strong, although its second upgrade isn't as strong as it only gains 5% bonus damage, but its other 2 upgrades are quite good. Alright, our next shotgun is the HZ-12. This weapon has always felt kind of strange to me. It's not bad, it feels so weird. This shotgun shoots out 10 pellets with each shot to do 20 damage. It's also very easy to do a follow-up shot with this weapon if your first shot doesn't kill the enemy or if you miss with it. Then if that doesn't work, stand there and wait for the pump, because did I mention this weapon? It feels weird.
It seems I must take a personal hand in this. Bravo! I hope you like pain.
What? Alright, then finally we have our last tier 2 weapon, and this is mine and probably your favorite tier 2 weapon, and it's the double barrel shotgun, or the boomstick.
This is my boomstick!
The boomstick fires out 10 or 20 pellets that each do 25 damage. That's a lot of damage. It seems like everybody loves this weapon, and is there really any question as to why? This thing destroys almost anything at close range, and with tight choke, it actually destroys most things at medium range too. There is also a trick that you can do with the double barrel boomstick as well as the doomstick, which is jumping into the air and firing both barrels. If you do this, then your person will fly backward a little bit, giving you some distance to escape large Zeds, usually best used against bosses. You can also point the gun at your feet and do this ability to jump over small things. Usually you can only do this with railing, and it's not what I really recommend doing it for because you will be running yourself out of ammo without doing any real damage to anything. Alright, moving on to tier 3 weapons. We have 2 that you can choose from for the support. The first is the HM Tech 301 Medic Shotgun. This weapon is actually pretty good. It allows you to keep your team alive, and it does pretty decent damage, and it's actually really surprisingly accurate at longer ranges even without tight choke. You can use your healing darts to not only heal your team, but you can also use them to damage Zeds. This is honestly more of a gimmick though, because the damage is very little. The best thing you can do with this if you're trying to hit Zeds is try to hit larger Zeds so that they panic and kind of move out of the way for a few seconds so that they're not pounding on you. And then the second tier 3 weapon that we have for the support is the M4. The M4 does great damage, and it has very manageable recoil. It actually has really good accuracy at most ranges too. The only real drawback to this weapon is that you do need to reload each shell one at a time, but if you manage it like you do with the pump shotgun or the dragon's breath, it's not too bad. And then finally we have our tier 4 weapons, which there are 2 to choose from. There's the AA-12 and the Doomstick. The AA-12 has always been a favorite of many because although it doesn't do the most damage, it is very accurate. It does a lot of damage per second. It's a fully automatic shotgun that holds 20 shots, so overall it's really good. And then the Doomstick probably has the most amount of burst damage out of any support weapon. It can do a surprising amount of damage to very large Zeds. Even if it doesn't kill them, it's almost guaranteed to stagger them to where they can't fight back. The only problem with both of these weapons is that they are both very heavy. The Doomstick also suffers from ammo issues, the AA-12 not so much, but as long as you have a second weapon with the Doomstick, that's not as big of a deal. Alright, so before we move on to loadouts, let's take a look at some of the support perks, and first off we're going to look at their passive perks. The support has passive increased welding proficiency, 3% per level up to 75%. This allows you to weld anything much more efficiently than any other class can. You have bonus shotgun damage, which is always great. More damage is always good with shotguns. And you have a huge amount of bonus shotgun penetration. This allows you to shoot through multiple enemies, and this is what really makes the support so strong at holding areas, because you can hold down a hallway so easily and so effectively with support. You also get increased overall ammo, which is nice because the shotguns do not tend to have the most ammo reserves out of any of the weapons. You also gain bonus strength, which is 1 additional weight every 5 levels, allowing you to make larger and more efficient arsenals as the game goes on and as you level up. This is also very effective in endless waves, where you'll be getting extra cash and can really fill out your full loadout however you would like. And then their last 2 abilities is the ammo pack and door repair. Support is the only class that can repair doors once they are broken, and the ammo pack allows teammates to grab a free flip's worth of ammo for all of their weapons. Alright, now moving on to the perk skills that you get to pick from. At level 5, you have your choices between high capacity magazines and tactical reload. With high capacity magazines, you get 50% larger capacity with all your weapons, except for the double barrel and the Doomstick. And with tactical reload, all of your weapons reload 30% faster. I take tactical reload here, but high capacity magazines is also another good choice. Both these are pretty good choices, and it just depends more on which weapons you plan on using. If you're planning on using the double barrel or the Doomstick, I would definitely recommend taking tactical reload. However, everything else also benefits from high capacity magazines. Clip fed guns obviously benefit the most as they already have somewhat of a slow reload, making high capacity magazines look like a better choice for some of them. You can go with that with the HC-12 or the AA-12, but I would still recommend tactical reload if you're going with any of the pump shotguns or the M4. At level 10, you have your choices between Fortitude and Salvo. With Fortitude, you gain 50% bonus health, which is always nice, and with Salvo, you gain an additional 30% more damage with all of your shotguns. For level 10, I picked Salvo here, as the 30% increased damage is absolutely massive for shotguns. Shotguns already do some of the highest amounts of damage, so putting it even higher is just that much better for making sure that even if you're not the most accurate, you can still usually body shot most Zeds, or maybe 2-shot body shot most Zeds, if not just being able to 1-shot headshot almost anything, besides larger Zeds like Skrakes and Flesh Pounds. Fortitude can be handy though, as if you feel like you are constantly being overrun and you need that extra tankiness and you're willing to sacrifice the damage, you could go with that. At level 15, you have your choices between Armor Piercing Shot and Tight Choke. Armor Piercing Shot increases the weapon's penetration capacity, and Tight Choke decreases the spread of your perk weapons by 50%. Right here, I definitely go with Tight Choke, as it makes every shotgun much better at longer ranges. Most shotguns generally aren't good outside of close to medium range, but with Tight Choke they can get away with being really good at medium range and decent at longer ranges. Armor Piercing I don't find all that necessary, although it's not bad. If you're in a map where there's always tight hallways, Armor Piercing can be good, as you can punch through multiple Zeds very easily, but Tight Choke I find to be more useful more often, since it's just so good at making it easier for you to kill larger Zeds. At level 20, you have your choices between Resupply Pack and Concussion Rounds. I always pick resupply pack here as it gives your teammates an additional 30% more ammo and 20% armor when they interact with you each wave, and you can carry 20% additional ammo. Even when I'm playing solo, I find the 20% additional ammo to generally outweigh the concussion round's ability to stumble Zeds 150% better, mostly because I don't find the stumble power all that necessary, as the shotguns generally kill things very, very quickly. And for larger Zeds, if you hit them with the Doomstick or you hit them with the AA-12 enough, they're bound to stumble regardless of this. This will make them stumble much quicker and it will be a little bit safer, but I still like the 20% more ammo better. However, like I said, concussion rounds is fine when playing solo. I would definitely recommend resupply pack whenever playing on multiplayer though. And then finally at 25, you have your choices between the Z-Time Penetrator and the Z-Time Barrage. For me personally, here I go with Barrage, as Barrage just allows you to shoot many more rounds much quicker and really allows you to clear out a lot of stuff very, very quickly. Penetrator, once again, is fine, but you kind of need it to be more set up for you. You need narrow hallways in order to make the most of this. So that's why I would pick Barrage. Alright, now, let's move on to loadouts. And honestly, before I say any of this, these are just loadouts that I would recommend to anybody that's looking for a particular loadout for support. You can really pick any two of the support shotguns, and you'll be pretty good to go. As of right now, all of the support shotguns are actually really, really strong. So the first loadout is a general loadout. This one is pretty good, just all the way around. And it's going with the AA-12 as your primary weapon, the double barrel as a backup weapon, or when you run out of shots with the AA-12 or need to deal with a large Zed. And then going with a medic pistol or C4, depending on which you think that you need more. Medic pistol to heal your team, C4 to deal with larger Zeds like flesh pounds. Right away, you do need to be level 5 or higher to get all of these things if you're going with medic pistol. Otherwise, you need to be level 15 or higher if you plan on going with C4. At max, though, you can fully upgrade your AA-12 and your double barrel, as well as still keep the medic pistol. The next loadout I recommend is one that I call the heavy hitter loadout. This is going with the Doomstick and the M4 with a medic pistol thrown in. With this build, I would recommend using the M4 to clear off most medium and small Zeds, and then switching to the Doomstick whenever there's a Scrake or Flesh Pound that comes up that you need to deal with immediately. And then of course switching to the medic pistol whenever teammates need healing, or if you're completely out of shots with your shotgun. And then the final loadout is the medic loadout, and this is going with either the AA-12 or Doomstick. It's your choice here. And then going with the medic shotgun. This loadout could also be paired with a medic pistol or C4 as well if you feel like that's necessary, if you wish to heal more, or if you wish to have that little bit more damage towards flesh pounds. And then Doomstick or AA-12, it's completely your choice. It depends on which one you feel like you need more. If you're going with the Doomstick, I'd recommend getting the medic shotgun first and then getting the Doomstick. If you're going with the AA-12, I'd recommend buying the AA-12 first and then going with the medic shotgun later. And then I have a few tips for support. The first tip is make sure that you're controlling hallways. If your team is standing in a particular position that has a hallway where everything needs to funnel in, you're going to be best suited for standing right there, as you can quickly clear all these Zeds very, very quickly as they try to come in with your passive penetration ability. The second tip is stay away from the pod. And this doesn't mean, just completely ignore the pod at all. Don't do that. This means don't ram your face into the pod so that your teammates can't grab their bonus ammo and bonus armor, as this will allow them to save money. You don't need to be hugging the pod, you just need to be close to it. And the third tip is don't weld every single door. It's fine to fix doors that have been broken, but there's no real reason to weld every single door that's in the board, unless you're on the lowest difficulty and just trying to farm experience. Welding every single door is a very, very good way of getting yourself and your team killed, as if one of the choke points that you guys are holding up suddenly gets breached and a lot of stuff starts funneling in, then as soon as you try to run away, you have no escape. So keep that in mind. You always want an escape route. So overall, I really like support. It's a fun class and it's a very easy to use class. It's definitely a class that I'd recommend to lower level players or players that are trying to play on somewhat harder difficulties, as it is very strong and it is very good for the group. It somewhat struggles with boss rounds, but aside from that, if you can hold yourself up in a decent position to where you can fire down, namely a hallway, then you'll be doing just fine. As well as with support, you really don't have to worry about angering Scrakes or Flesh Pounds, as you can deal with them yourself. Just try not to anger all the Scrakes and all the Flesh Pounds just with your penetrative ability. That sounded a little bit kinky, didn't it? Alright, so this has been my Killing Floor 2 support guide, and I hope it helped you guys out. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did enjoy it, be sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and leave a comment down below telling me what you thought of the video. And as always, if you guys have been having a good day, keep on having a good day. If you guys have been having a bad day, well, I hope this video made your day just a little bit better. I'll have to see all of you guys next time. Until then, stay cool, and bye.